And how's the squad looking after the midweek? Cameron coming back into?
Yeah, comes back into the squad. So all fit and healthy.
Do you have to kind of think 2 steps ahead almost at this time with all these games, like 7 and 21 days, especially with the journey both this weekend and for Tuesday's game as well?
Yeah, you clearly have to do that. It is one game at a time, of course, but you can't deny that you have to plan forward as well. So, no, it's a very important period for recuperation, recovery, and all. As I said, the sports science team here are outstanding. So, all the players are well drilled on the nutritional aspects, recovery aspects. Obviously, with travel, flights, bus, everything. So, but the guys are prepared for that, and like I say, the attitude in the squad is very, very good for that. They know they have to recover and be ready for the next game.
Is it one of the benefits of this busy period? You get a chance to bring people into, who maybe have been on the fringes and to see them contribute as well as they did in midweek as well. Was that a real good thing?
Yeah, it's great. It's what you want to see, and I think it's testament to their professionalism. I've always said that you can't come in like Dave Turnbull the other night and play to the level and score the goal he did if you're not focused in training and working very hard. So the intensity that the players produce every single day is first class. So that allows them to be ready when they do come in, and all the guys that came in the midweek made a really important contribution for us.
I know you said a couple of times in the last few weeks that you feel the squad is probably too big. Is that a challenge for you to keep some of the players happy who maybe are, who don't see a direct route to the first team, and how have you managed to do that?
No, it's not been a challenge, only purely because the players understand the situation and the professionalism. It's really hard if you've got 7 or 8 players that aren't even involved in the match day squad. So, but that's something that you have to navigate your way through. And of course, when we get to January, that'll look different. But I have to say, the mentality of every single one of them, and also for our coaches, John Kennedy, who leads the coaching, does a brilliant job in terms of ensuring that what the players do on the pitch, they're very much together. There's no one left isolated, even though it's huge numbers. And the players, they deserve huge credit as well, because they come in very professional to work, and they know that it can change also very quickly in football, that you might be outside of it, but then you get a chance, and when that chance comes, you have to be ready.
I suppose when you look at somebody like Liam Scales, who maybe was one of those players just 6-7 weeks ago, and they can see what's happened to him, but after he seized his chance.
Yeah, so Liam's the perfect example. On the outside, not even travelling with some of the squads. He then gets the chance to play, and because of that mentality and professional approach to his profession, he steps in and he's ready, and then he gains confidence, and now has, like I said, he's playing at a really high level.
How important is that in terms of that mentality about the players that you bring in? You bring in players with that mentality that that is that togetherness. Is that what you're looking to do in terms of keeping the squad in that sort of togetherness and that sort of mentality?
Well, yeah, you can't be selfish, that's for sure. And when you come into a team, of course, everyone wants to play and everyone wants to be out in the field. That's why they play as a professional footballer. But the characteristics that we want is players that are selfless. You have to come in, you're here to develop and improve as a player. All you can do is give your all every single day of your life, prepare yourself well, and then it's up to me to pick the team, and you can do no more than that. So that mentality, to accept that, it needs to be right, and thankfully that's the type of mentality that we have here.
Have you begun the plans for January in terms of assessing the number of the squad, how big the squad is and whatnot? Yeah,
it's ongoing. It's an ongoing process for the January window, for the summer window, but our immediate focus is purely on the games.
And on Ross County, a nice trip up, and obviously a man well, obviously, but they don't come easy up there, do they?
Never. It's a beautiful trip, I've got to say. The journey up, fantastic.
bit long, but
No, it's not. It's not. I've travelled up a few times. Unfortunately for us, we don't get the chance to pop into the House of Brewer, which is absolutely amazing on the way up. But we'll have to go past that. But yeah, it's such a beautiful part of the world. And like I say, thankfully we're going up in daylight. I've been up here in the evening, some of the evenings before. But to travel up today, blue sky, it's just an amazing journey up. The views, everything, and then we get well looked after up there. And of course, like you say, the game is it's a tough game for us. Malky's done a brilliant job since he's been in there, but it's not a surprise to me. I know him well. I've worked closely with him. I know how hard he works. I know that he gives absolutely everything into every job that he goes into. And yeah, like we've seen in the first game of the season, it was even though we won the game and played okay, we had our challenges in the game. So this will be exactly the same. We have to be ready.
A frustration, obviously, I imagine not being involved in the semi-finals this weekend, but on the flip side, a chance to extend that gap at the top. How crucial could that be?
Well, we'll see at the end of the season. I think for us it's just about focusing on the game, and there'll be another game ticked off for us. We've started very well. In the first round of games, 9 victories, 2 draws that we should win. But and the team growing and developing as we go through. So we can only look after ourselves really, and we weren't good enough in the Kilmarnock game at that time, but it's a different mentality, a different team now, and we just have to use that throughout the remainder of the season.
We got a nice chance to speak to O after the game the other night, just a chance to speak to him, and he was so firstly gushing about you and the mentality of you keep giving him chances, but also with Kyogo playing alongside him and learning from him. Is that a partnership we might see in the future? He was saying how much he loves playing alongside him, that sort of 2 strikers on the field together.
Yeah, it just depends. It's mostly how he plays 4-3-3. So, but there's lots of opportunities to play whether he plays as a single striker or whether he plays up there with someone. And but what I do know is he's a young guy, still only 22, who works very, very hard, and I've been really impressed with that aspect of his game. I spoke to him the other week with his translator and just making sure he's getting the messages, because it's not easy. You come in from the other side of the world, totally different culture and different way, but he's really adapted really well, and there's a lot of his game I like, and I know that he can only improve. So he came on the other night in the period he was on, was very effective for us and scored a fantastic goal. So hopefully he can continue to do that, whether he starts or whether he comes off the bench.
Brendan, the last couple of matches we've had penalty kicks and we've hit the post. Is that a bit of a concern?
Yes. Yeah. But we're not good enough with penalties. I've made that clear. So when I look across over a period of time here, especially with the players that are gifted, a lot of technically gifted players here. So it's something that we will improve on. It's a skill that you can be better at, but you have to practice and practice and practice and get your routine and it's something that we do on a daily basis. So I can't deny it's an area we have to be better in.
Can I ask you about Kyogo? 1, could he not be a brilliant penalty taker? 2, should he have had a penalty kick, a second penalty kick the other night when he got badly blocked? And I think it was on shown on Celtic TV. And also, any comment on the booking that he received on Wednesday?
Sorry, what was the first one?
The first one, would he be a good penalty taker?
I think they all think they're good penalty takers. So we assess and we look at that. We look at the trend of all the players over a period of time and what the penalties they've taken and how many they've scored, and then try to assess it from there. And then we pick what we feel is the best penalty takers. So sometimes you think naturally the striker is the one that would be the best penalty takers, but it's not always the case. Second and third questions, the game's gone, so we move on to the next game.
Okay, we asked Joe Hart about his contract situation, and obviously David Turnbull as well. There was talk at the beginning of the season about a new contract for David. Any update on those two?
Nothing, no.